Day here in Macau. We are ready for day 2 of track action with lots going on here today. And once again, it is the motorcycle heroes who begin the action on circuit. Michael Rutter, the man you're looking at there, the man who's won more Macau Grand Prix than anybody else, and may well do another one. You never know, cannot write it off. But Peter Hickman, his teammate in the garage there, Peter, has won 3 now, and he's won everything else he's ever been to basically in the last year, and he is looking pretty unstoppable. So Michael Rutter has a bit of a big ask in front of him if he wants to get in front of Peter Hickman on the grid, and that's the object of this 45-minute session starting in a moment. There are half a dozen riders close enough to Hickman to unseat him from pole position, but having said that, his margin is so convincing that it would be an extremely difficult thing indeed to do. 1.7 seconds the gap from Michael Rutter to Peter Hickman yesterday. Very busy session on track yesterday, and traffic's going to be an issue today as well. So even people who are lucky enough to have qualifiers on their bikes, and there are some, even those people can't always make good use of them because the track can be too busy. So you might get sector 1 and sector 2 and then get balked in sector 3, or you might get sector 2 and sector 4. Depends how you come up on traffic on your lap. So picking an empty bit of racetrack in which to use those tyres is as much of an art form as knowing what to do with them if you've got them. And the other thing, of course, is that they're qualifying tyres. They don't last race distance, which is 12 laps. So Saturday afternoon, when we go racing here, the 53rd Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix is at 15:55 local time tomorrow. When we go racing, they're all on race tyres, so they second advantage, maybe 1.5 seconds, depending who you are and what your bike is, but at least a second advantage you get from a qualifying tyre, all gone come Saturday afternoon. So all you've got then is your grid position. But if the front 3 rows are packed with people who had qualies on, people behind haven't really got the career. Davey Todd there advanced up the leaderboard yesterday. He was a bit low-key in free practice, but bumped up into 8th place, which is more or less where we expect to see him. Engines firing up, no mistaking the sound of that one. Michael Rutter likes to be first out because that means he gets a first look at an empty track. It's been rubbering in over the past few days. So when we started here yesterday morning, it was green, and which is racers speak for dirty, really. Buses, taxis, whatever the local traffic is, dropping oil and all kinds of stuff all over the place. They sweep it overnight, they open it for racing or free practice as it was yesterday morning, Thursday, and it's covered in stuff basically, and so you have to spend a little while getting it cleaned up, and it gradually comes to you. So we saw that yesterday. There's as much as 5 seconds difference between the quick times in free practice on Thursday morning and first qualifying yesterday afternoon. A lot of that is due to the fact that the track memory is coming back and people know what to do and where to do it, but also because it's been cleaned and rubbered on, and it has more grip. And people are learning their motorcycles as well. A lot of adjustments going on yesterday throughout the practice and the qualifying session. And as you know, if you ride a motorbike, they're so sensitive to little changes. So you change something at the front of the bike, say, you need a little bit of change to the shock height or something, and it completely changes the balance of the bike, lifts the other end up or pushes it down, whatever it is. You have to compensate with preload. Are you going the right way? Have you done too much? Have you not done enough? All of those things were happening throughout yesterday, and hopefully all of those things have resulted in improvement. So we're looking at Derek Shields, for example, 6th place on the that's not Derek Shields obviously, but Derek is 6th on the qualifying sheet from yesterday, and he crept up there, although John Burrows, his team boss, was on the phone to Northern Ireland back home, speaking to their suspension engineer, who can't be here, sort of adjusting the suspension by remote control. Couldn't really do it in the session, so now they've got changes which might even improve that a little bit further for them. So this qualifying session, you are going to see times improve. All people, all the riders, all the teams, everybody on the track now has done something, almost certainly, although the possible exception to that could be the Paul Bird team, who arrived with the championship winning bike straight out of the crate from the last round of BSP, and as far as we know, haven't really touched them or made any adjustments. They're in such a fine state of tune that they work perfectly round here, and so they've been, I'm looking for the times now on the thing, on the sheet, and it's John McGuinness just ahead of Dave Johnson, but those two bikes are third and fourth. Will they be third and fourth after this session? 45 minutes in total, 43 remaining. And pit lane now more or less empty. Michael Rutter first out, Ian Hutchinson's out. Tom Herbertson, good times yesterday, good improvements yesterday. Davo Johnson is out there, Paul Jordan, they're all starting to click off times. You can see the live timing on itslive.net. So if you want to add time, and there's Gary Johnson, they've been working hard on these bikes as well. This is a classic example of a small team with not a huge budget, but Gary and Lee have been working hard on those over the past couple of days.